Good evening, everyone. This is Walter Cronkite speaking to you from CBS Television Election Headquarters here in New York City.
It wasn't just the first coast-to-coast broadcast of a presidential election and Walter Cronkite's first time anchoring on election night. It was the first time a computer was used to project the winner.
This is the face of a UNIVAC.
Laughable now, groundbreaking then.
UNIVAC, can you tell us what your prediction is now on the basis of the returns that we've had so far? I don't know. I think that UNIVAC is probably an honest machine, a good deal more honest than a lot of commentators who are working, and he doesn't think he's got enough to tell us anything about yet.
But UNIVAC did have something to say. With not even 3.5 million votes counted, he predicted 100-to-1 odds of an Eisenhower victory in a landslide so huge it seemed impossible, given what had been thought to be a close race. The results were withheld for several hours, CBS and the machine's makers, fearing humiliation. But UNIVAC was right. The war between the stat heads and the pundits had begun. Fast forward 60 years to 2012.
We have him as a 75% favorite, roughly, almost an 80% favorite, in fact, to win in the Electoral College, less than that in the popular vote.
And we have New York Times blogger Nate Silver's prediction of an Obama win on Tuesday, no matter what the popular vote.
Politics is a people full of people who are trained to manipulate the way that we view information. So when they see information they don't like, and we're publishing it based on a computer program that we designed 4 years ago says every day, they're going to become very, very upset. They can't manipulate what my computer says.
So is this another UNIVAC moment, or a stat head headed for a fall?
The election's Tuesday. How many more posts?
Nate Silver has become the numbers geek pundits love to hate, particularly Republican pundits.
Nate Silver says this is a 73.6% chance that the president's going to win.
That was Joe Scarborough, a former Republican congressman, on MSNBC's Morning Joe last week.
And anybody that thinks that this race is anything but a toss-up right now, they're jokes.
Silver argues that the race is tight.
Romney surged in the polls, and he now holds a slight lead.
But not a toss-up. He calls his blog 538 because that's the total number of Electoral College votes. A presidential candidate has to get at least 270 electoral votes to win. No other number really matters. And Silver's computer model says Obama is ahead in the states capable of delivering that magic 270, namely Ohio, Wisconsin, Nevada, and Iowa. So how does this model work?
So every poll that people read about goes into the model and feeds the projection in some way. Okay, let me ask you this.
There might be 30 or 40 of them a day in this year's poll-happy universe. Silver's model averages all those polls, then factors in how well they've performed in past elections, and comes up with probabilities, like gambling odds.
Florida, for example, we had Romney with a 60% chance of winning. That's how often, when you have a 1-point lead in the average of polls, you've wound up winning in the past. In Ohio, we have Obama with about a 75% chance of winning because he has a larger lead, and so it's more likely to be enduring on election day itself.
I'm projecting that we need to win at least 99 games in order to make it to the postseason.
Think Moneyball, the book and film about how a geek used numbers to outdo the Oakland A's scouts using their intuition to find undervalued baseball players who could win. In other words, the stat heads versus the pundits again. Nate Silver started out as a baseball statistician before moving on to politics. His new book, The Signal and the Noise, describes his theories. In the 2008 election, Silver called 49 out of 50 states right.
Tell me what the difference between the kind of polling that CBS does and the sort of process that Nate Silver goes through.
Well, I think those are very different animals.
Sarah Dutton is director of surveys for CBS News. The polls CBS News conducts, along with its polling partner, the New York Times, are among those fed into Nate Silver's model.
What we do is more of a snapshot in time than a prediction of an election outcome. It's a very different kind of thing. We ask people, if the election were being held today, which candidate would you vote for? But really, most of our polls are about things that are not horse race related, but maybe candidate related, and give you really some insight into sort of the mind of the electorate.
Here are CBS's most recent poll results.
A very close race, 48% for President Obama, 47% for Mitt Romney, just a 1-point lead for the president, and that is within the poll's margin of error.
Meaning Obama and Romney essentially neck and neck at the end of that race. What Nate Silver does is use his model to say President Obama is 75 to 80% more likely than Mitt Romney to cross the finish line first. And that's what makes him controversial.
Nate has gotten very good reviews from people who have studied his methodology, but just like a clock, even the most inaccurate pollster gets it right from election to election, and just like a clock, even the most accurate people will get it wrong from time to time.
Here's the deal.
Frank Luntz is a GOP strategist and a CBS News consultant.
Mitt Romney's pollster has staked his reputation that Mitt Romney's going to win this election, that they're going to win Ohio and many of these key states, and that the published polls are wrong.
And you're absolutely convinced that Obama is going to win the Electoral College vote?
Oh, no. I'm convinced that if offered even money, I would be happy to bet on Obama. I would need, a pretty good price to bet on Romney. That 2-to-1 wouldn't do it for me. 3-to-1 might.
So who or what to believe? In the 7-Eleven coffee cup vote, right in the last 3 elections, Obama is ahead 59 to 41%. Obama Halloween masks outsold Romney masks 63 to 37%. The mask poll has been right since 1996. If this is any gauge of the tightness of the race, in the Family Circle magazine First Lady Cookie Contest, Michelle Obama's white and dark chocolate chip cookies squeaked by Ann Romney's M&M cookies by 287 votes out of more than 9,000.
Romney's poll numbers in Ohio has surged.
And the latest Gallup poll shows it's the president.
To quote a horrible journalistic cliche, only time will tell.